The name's Verve. Yeah, just Verve. If you need a last name, you can put Squallrun or something, but that's only because you asked. I understand you need me to answer these questions for your report or whatever, but I've already told you everything I know. I really don't get why I'm still being questioned. Yeah, no, I get it. It was dangerous and stupid and I could have died, but if it wasn't for me, the girl definitely would have been toast. Plus, between you and me, I've always wanted to jump into a burning building all heroic-like. I was just looking for some sort of compensation for my services, so why the interrogation? I guess that's a good point. Would you believe I just happened to be in the right place at the right time? No? Okay, fine. Few days ago, these peeps at Solas talked some big game that this rich pop security system was the most advanced in the Steadfast. Airtight, Nera, out the wazoo. I'll spare you the deets, but bottom line, I'm getting paid by these smooth brains to find the weaknesses in this Noomsec. That's Numenera security for the uninitiated. But I never intended to give it to them. They paid me half already, and I was gonna sell this drive back to the owner for more shins. That's what I was doing here. Finished the job too, in case anyone was interested. I was on my way out when the explosion went off. I started running, but then I heard the girl. No one was around. The security team was scrambling. What was I, an upstanding citizen of Charmant, mind you, supposed to do? Alright, we can split hairs all we want, but that's gonna land us nowhere. How about this proposal? I don't even want the shins. Keep them. I give you all the info I have on the Noomsec, plus the names of the dudes that paid me. In return, I walk free, and you lose the name Verve from your database.
Well, hey there. Welcome to, well, our little settlement don't have a name yet. We're still figuring it out, but I'm sure we'll come up with one soon. Me? Who am I? I'm Licton Brattlesby, the unofficial greeter of this here town. It is quite the pleasure. How'd I get here? Well, it's quite the simple story, you see. I was born and raised in the beyond, far from here. And several years ago, my little village up and vanished. People in the houses with them as if they were carved right out from the earth itself. So a group and I went out and solved that little mystery and brought it back. After that, I realized that this ninth world was full of amazing surprises, and I developed a bit of a wanderlust. Eventually, I made my way to the city of Charmant. Mighty fine place, but I ended up in a spot of trouble. I promise it was all a bit of a misunderstanding, but them city folk don't like to listen to reason. That's where I met Verve. Bit of a reckless fella, but he helped me out of a tight spot and we made our way out into the beyond. We ended up with a bit more travelers than originally discussed, but they all seemed like fine and reliable folk. Then we made our way into the Sicilian jungle and what we eventually decided to call our new home. It might be in the middle of nowhere and everything is still being cobbled together, but welcome to the town.
Sorry, I didn't see you there. I was looking at something else. My name is Nova, and I'm on a mission. I'm not sure where I'm going or what I'm looking for exactly, but my ma always told me I'd know it when I saw it. I've got a bit of a knack for that, ever since I was little. My ma and I, and some of my aunties and uncles and sibs too, we've got that knack for seeing what others don't. When I was little, I thought everyone saw like me. What do I see? Different things, depending. It's hard to explain. When I look at a tree or a flock of birds, I see perfect order and symmetry forever, going on and on, longer than humans can count or the most powerful scope can see. But at the same time, everything is bundled up tight inside itself, like a leaf ready to unfurl. I told you it was hard to explain. It helps a lot with our work, though. People come to us with their problems sometimes. Well, I shouldn't say us. We're just the caretakers of the temple. I'm sure you've noticed it. the strange building just as you cross over the mountains into the beyond. We've been there a long time. People come to us when they need to know that there's the promise of order in the chaos, or the hope of chaos in the order, or sometimes they're just following a feeling. And that's what I'm doing now. We've known for a while that the temple had a missing piece, so when I started growing up stronger than my sibs, the quest fell on me. My family taught me to be self-sufficient, just in case I needed to be on my own for a while. It can be dangerous wandering around alone, but I'm not worried about finding what I need. I'm sure the path I walk is straight in some dimension.
Firstly, my name is Rashiel. To answer your question about Numenera, they are fearsome. They are powerful. They should be treated with deference, not played with like mere trinkets. The Aeon priests, those egomaniacs, think they have it all figured out. That kind of mindset gets people hurt, killed, or worse. I know better. I have experienced firsthand the destructive power of the Numenera and what they can lead the unwary to do, both to themselves and to those around them. After all, there is no generalizing the Numenera. I fear that my current fellows and I are unprepared for what we may be confronted with as we forge this new settlement, but fear of the unknown has never stopped me before. I suppose I can say that I do hold some hope. I hope that I can safely gather more information on Numenera and the beyond that I could ever hope to access in my hometown. Whether I need one or many, surely I'll be able to find something out here, away from prying eyes and the central cults of the priests. In any case, it is too late to turn back now. I may never be able to go back to that life I had before, peacefully studying with my mentor, but I know that I can adapt. I am a sorcerer, after all, and I know that I am better off for it.
And we're live, everybody. You're muted, Alex.
Every time.
All right, it's officially a No For A stream, y'all. Hey, hi, howdy. My name is Alex. I am the very excited GM tonight for this game of Numenera, and we are only on our second episode here, so I'm glad to have everybody, and I don't think you'll be too far behind in case you happen to miss the first episode, which you should definitely go watch because it was super great and super fun. And speaking of our first episode, Verve, do you think we could get a reading from the captain's log?
Oh, absolutely. I got an actual device this time. It's not a pen. Captain's log. Although I should probably change the name. Okay, Verve's log, entry number 1. All other entries prior to this one should be considered for entertainment purposes only. Reason being, I think Nova made some good points about keeping an actual record. Okay, where to begin? A couple months ago, the Iron Wind tore through the city of Charmand, and as a result, lots of people suffered. A few of them decided that life in the beyond was better than trying to pick up the pieces. Apparently, there's some place in the Caecilian jungle. I've heard it both ways. In the jungle, that'd be a nice, safe haven for a group of misfits. Speaking of which, among this group of misfits, you can find yours truly, Verve, Licton, a jack like me who I found in some dire straits and decided to help out, and Rashiel, this bookish, mean person with knives, who I've known for quite a while now. Along the way, we also picked up Nova, who's got away with words and describing stuff like, you know, stuff that you can't see. If I'm being honest, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies at first, but you get used to it. Things were going pretty smooth up until a few nights ago. A critter got into our cold storage, taking up a bunch of our resources and ruin a sandwich I was saving for later. But Rashiel insisted that we keep it, and I don't want to get on her bad side any more than I already am. Only problem is that this dog's really fucking hot. Not like me hot, like temperature hot, but that's Rashiel's problem. The next morning, the group couldn't decide if we should take it slow and steady or do the smart thing and get to the place we were heading as soon as possible. Fortunately, the majority of the group saw it my way and opted to move quickly. However, not quickly enough, as Licton and I came face to face with a Jurasker. You know, the big old beast with teeth and no chill. Needless to say, we sped on right out of there. Wasn't interested in becoming more of a snack than I already am, if you know what I'm saying. Unfortunately, Nova discovered that though it was blind, it was following us somehow, and after some debate, Rashiel volunteered one of her ciphers so that Nova and I could go talk to the Jurasker in the datasphere. And let me tell you, that was trippy dippy. We made contact with the Jurasker, which is old. Like, super old, let me tell you. And here's the thing, though. It was scared and alone. Something that yours truly can understand and relate to. Oh, at some point previous to this point in time. I'm pretty awesome. That's the whole takeaway from this. Now, it worked out in our favor. I think I made friends and it let us pass into the night until we finally came across where we're supposed to be. I think. It's this huge donut in the sky, and let me tell you, there's a lot more to this place than I originally thought. For now, we're just trying to establish a settlement. Everyone's been doing their part, which I'm sure they'll let you know. But me, I'm flexible. I've been helping out where I can, helping make this place feel like a home. I found this nice secret spot up on the donut where I can have a great view of the night sky, which is where I'm recording this right now. But I should probably head down soon. I promised Licton that I'd help with tying down some overhead support posts or whatever that means. Verve out, entry number 1 over.
All right, everybody. Well, first off, that was a wonderful first entry to the captain's log. But also, it has been 6 weeks since you first arrived at this structure, this vessel, this something out in the middle of the Caecilian jungle. And since it has been 6 weeks, your community around you has been busy, mostly constructing semi-permanent, temporary type structures that are really not a whole lot more than sort of huts made out of cobbled together bits of scrap metal and wood and bits of this plastic called synth. It's very obviously temporary, but for now, it's been getting the job done. Over the course of this 6 weeks, could everybody let me know what you have been up to?
Well, as Verve already mentioned, he's gonna help me put up some support beams and posts to get some roofs over people's heads. It's hot, there's danger out here, and it's nice to just relax in some place that you can call your own. Besides that, I have been assisting in any building. I know I'm a little bit of a handyman. And other than that, maybe just a little bit of exploring here and there, sketching some of that big old vessel that we have come upon. And just getting to know the people that will be part of our community.
In these past 6 weeks, I have been primarily gathering. I have been gathering bits and pieces for the beginnings of an art project. I have been attracted mostly to stones and pieces of detritus that I've collected off of what Verve is calling a donut. Not entirely sure what that is.
It's a silly folk thing.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know what a tuber is, but not a donut?
Oh, how long have you been standing there?
I've been here a couple minutes. Anyway, keep going.
I have appeared to have also have collected verve. But no, I've been building up a pattern to reflect the feeling that I'm getting from this new place. It's strange to be in one location for this long. But as we arrived low on supplies, I've also been traveling through the nearby woodlands and hunting and gathering supplies to supplement our food.
Verve, Rashil?
I
think you're
believe
muted.
Rashil is silent though talking.
Am I?
Now you're good.
There you are.
Am I still silent? There, that was odd. Okay. So as I'm sure the rest of you have noticed by now, I am very, very busy taking care of Ash. Just trying to make sure that this poor thing is going to be able to function in a way that's comfortable for him. And to that extent, I have enlisted the help of Sabine, whether it is with her knowledge or not, don't worry about it. I am going to have to go on a salvaging mission at some point because I know I need pliable metal in order to get him the most optimal heat transfer possible so that he can, function without burning everything up. And his poor baby, he's just so uncomfortable all the time. It's not his fault that he is just like a little inferno. Aside from that, I am helping people, despite what these others might tell you. If somebody really, really needs me, or if they need something that requires very deep knowledge of Numenera, I have the means and I have the studies and I have the resources to help them. And I do help them readily. It's just I do not waste my time on trivial things.
The shade. Anyway, I kind of already talked about what I've been doing. I've been doing my best to help out, but some side projects that I've been working on is finding my own. Oh, that was loud. Was finding my own sort of like my own nook out up on the donut, someplace quiet, away from everyone else, so that I can just contemplate. I've also wandered the jungle and ran into my Jurassica friend at some point. Just hanging out. Seems nice, but yeah, I haven't really been doing much of my own stuff other than helping out. I always make sure that I'm back in time for dinner for the nightly campfire story time.
All right. So two things. One, for those of us at home who were not able to catch last episode, Ash is this small dog-like creature covered in this sort of metal plating, who is perpetually hovering somewhere between like 500 and 700 degrees Fahrenheit. To counteract this, he spends most of his time hanging out inside what basically is a sort of super cooler, and he is alive and well to some extent, although he does not seem to be able to leave a sort of cold storage for anything more than an hour or two maximum at any given time. And also, Rashil, correct me if I'm wrong, but you gave up a cipher last week in order to build the Datasphere projector. All right, can you roll me a D100?
I can. Give me a moment to get that one out. Goodness.
I put a lot of effort into these ciphers. I really want to.
In the meanwhile,
I understand.
Licton, what are we building here?
Outhouse.
Oh, that's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running out of spots in the jungle to go.
Yeah, I would like some privacy. And I'm sure everyone else would like to.
Why was this not the first thing we built?
I don't know. Ask the captain. He's in charge here.
That's right. Okay.
That is an 18.
18. Okay. All right. So that's pretty neat. Give me 1 second. I will copy the effect of this thing and paste it in our Discord so you can add it to your sheet. But you have acquired something called an oversight. This is a small glass vial, and it is filled with these very large, sort of like amoeboid type creatures, where you can see there's probably like 5 or 6 of these like very large, visible to the naked eye amoebas that are just kind of like hanging out in this sort of very viscous green blue fluid that has some like sort of like trapped air pockets inside it. It's goop with bugs in it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How many bugs?
5 or 6, and the bugs are very specifically these large amoeba type things. They're mostly liquid themselves.
I'm naming each one of them.
I love it.
I
love
do
it so
not
much.
question when Rashiel starts talking to this cipher.
This is a sweet
Rashiel-
baby. Yes, look at you. You're all homeostatic and you're so self-sufficient.
Verve.
You're precious.
Verve, you've known Rashiel for a while, right?
Yeah. We've known each other for a while in Charmant before leaving. So
Have they always been like this? With the baby talk and animals and stuff?
you know, I don't think I'm allowed to say. I will remark it is a little bit weird.
What is weird about talking to Goop?
Look at them. They're so good and they're so smart.
What do they say?
I don't know yet, but I'll find out. Give me time.
That is indeed very smart.
Licton, I want you to promise me that if you ever see me talking to Goop, you just tell me it's weird.
You don't need to be talking to Goop for me to tell you you're being weird.
Yeah, but
Finally, Licton and I agree with something.
specifically talking to Goop.
I'll keep that in mind.
But, Verb, I don't understand. Just the other day, you made friends with a mist. Have you already forgotten?
We established that mist was the sort of data sphere version of the Jurasker.
Well, perhaps this Goop is the ninth world version of something unfathomably brilliant and meaningful.
Yeah, Verve. You don't know.
And perhaps to something else, we are Goop. I mean, and I kind of like squish a little bit. Actually, Nova is not squishy in any part of her form. But, you know, I kind of like make a bicep and, well, we are Goop in some ways ourselves.
You make points that are too good to ignore, and it makes me think during a time when I don't want to think. I just want to get this knot tied.
I think, Verve, that we just need to agree that these two folks are just going to be more capable than us in every regard at every point.
Listen,
Thank
I've seen
you,
some.
Licton.
Are you saying that you need help with this, this construction?
If you would like to, but
No, it's almost done. I just got to get this just right.
Is it almost done?
Rashiel's already gone.
yeah, we're probably almost done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a super involved construction task.
I love this idea of Verve being like, it's almost done. He's got like a piece of rope.
And Licton is doing most of the hard work and construction.
Also, to quickly clarify a couple of things. One, Rashiel, you would know that so to activate this cipher, you would have to consume what is inside the vial.
Okay.
So that's how that works. Just to be clear.
I'll
And
eat my
also,
squishies.
also you would know that this was provided to you basically with a small note from Sabine thanking you for providing her a cipher.
Okay.
She basically provides you like an equal exchange type thing.
Equivalent exchange is what we call it around
Something
here.
like that. Is there anything anyone would like to do today?
I would say that this morning Verve woke up deciding that he wanted to be good with technology today. So for his flex skill, technological interaction for the
Okay,
day.
could we simplify that to understanding Numenera?
Sure.
Okay,
And I would like to also point out that Verve calls it Nera.
sure.
Nera usage.
We have been in the process of trying to figure out how to get into this donut over the past 6 weeks. So I have been probably like every other day going into my little book and reading through it and reminiscing about when I used to go back on delves back in Bronzeburn. So my flex skill for the day will be delving and scavenging.
All right, sure thing. And speaking of, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can do my flex skill after.
Oh, I just remembered that you had a flexibility one. So go. So yeah, go
Oh
ahead.
yes, I was gonna say over the last 6 weeks, I have been focusing on my physical surroundings, looking for patterns in the earth and in nature and in this new place. And I've come to realize that perhaps the key to unlocking my goal lies within the people who are assembled here. And I've come to accept that I perhaps need to get to know my community members more closely. And I'm going to be skilled today in social interactions.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it has only taken you and a variety of other, the closest things to specialists that you have. But you and a few other people, it has taken you about the 6-week period to eventually find a way into this structure. But this particular morning, you do see this woman, Sabine Galt, who you all know at this point very well, coming up to you very excitedly. We found a way in.
Where?
Where?
She sort of like beckons you over and takes you sort of off to the. It's a ways out to actually get to where this thing sort of has impacted the ground. But from this position where you stand next to this the sort of impact site, she sort of points up, and maybe like 200 to 300 feet off the ground, there's what looks like a small sort of hatch or vent or something.
Verve, isn't that where don't you hang out around up there?
You don't know.
Oh, we don't know? Alright, never mind. I don't know then.
I mean, he absolutely he said that out loud. But
Sure, I don't know.
yeah, that
You hang out all the way up there?
I'm confused.
yeah.
That's extremely,
But
extremely far.
Have you
It's
known about a way in for 6 weeks and just not told anybody?
No, this is the first time I'm seeing it.
so,
Are you lying
so
or are you telling the truth?
I am absolutely telling the truth. I found my nook and I stopped looking.
Okay, sure. Because this thing is definitely damaged. There are just sort of like nooks and other things you could sort of climb into. But the implication is, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you want?
Wait,
I think I know a way to get there. I can show
how do
you.
you? But how do you? But how do you? How?
yeah, how do you get up there?
How?
We need to go around the other direction and go up. There's a way that I found. It's you can't really see it from this direction. But yeah, it's very much a more roundabout way. I know I can do it, but I also understand that not as many people have the same capabilities that I do, so it might be a little difficult. I'm more than happy to show
I
y'all.
would agree with you there. I still am I do not understand at
It
all.
all makes sense when we Sabine, do you want us to go over there and check it out now, or do you want us to wait and, you know, start fresh?
I mean, to some extent, that's up to you, I suppose. Yeah, you are sort of the most capable people we could ask to take an initial look. So honestly, whatever works for you is, well, at bare minimum, what we will have to accept.
You can
Anything you can do for
handle
us would-
construction today, right?
I, of all people, can handle construction. And she sort of like flexes her mechanical arm.
Okay.
Is this entryway, is it on the ring shape or is it on the central axle?
Yeah, so this is on the ring itself. And the ring itself is like fairly wide. There's more than enough space for a lot of movement inside there.
Okay.
I guess.
Imagine sort of like the foundation of a building in terms of area.
Well, if Sabine don't mind picking up where Verve and I left off, maybe she can
Yes,
get.
I'm sure you've gotten so much done today.
I'm sure she can maybe get like Varl's or Raven's help as well while we go take a look see. What time of day is it, GM?
This is morning, maybe like 10 or so. And keep in mind, the days in Numenera are 28 hours. So it basically goes from 14 to 14. So it's about 10 now.
Okay.
Maybe get a
Like
light
noon in 4
snack,
hours.
and then head on up.
Okay.
All right.
Listen, meet me on the I'll say the south side of this. That's a different character. The south side of the settlement, and make sure that you all bring just what you need. You don't need to be weighed down or anything. Make sure you stretch. This might be a little difficult.
What?
We will be scaling
Are we
the...
rock climbing?
Yes, we'll scaling the outside of the donut.
You'll see.
How else we gonna get up there, Rashiel?
I don't know. That's why I'm confused. But you expect me to climb?
Don't come then.
That's fair.
You don't have to come.
I just don't think I can do it, to be honest.
Then
But-
don't come and help here
Oh,
out here.
then-
Take care of Ash.
But I just think
It's okay if you can't do it, Rashiel. You're perfectly fine over here. I mean, not everyone can be good at everything.
I just find it amusing that Verve is better at something than you for once.
Well, when it comes to physical menial grunt work, of course.
We'll see you later this evening then.
I did not dismiss myself, and she starts walking to this other side.
Okay.
it's true we have never seen Rashiel climb.
So Verve is gonna go wait by a tree that one of the branches kind of arcs over to a piece of debris that kind of starts the sort of traversal up.
All right. Is there anything anyone would like to do to prep?
Oh,
Or are you just going to go for it?
I'm going to tell Ash that if I die, that he needs to keep an eye on the disaster jacks.
I'll make
That's
sure.
honestly fair.
I'll make
Shield
sure.
just has zero confidence in her physical abilities.
I'll make sure to grab my pack with all my traveling supplies in it. But other than that, I'm ready.
Nova will go to her hut, which is at the center of sort of this growing mosaic, drop off some of her more sort of cumbersome items, and take a moment to wrap her wrists and lower legs for stability. Maybe grab some like climbing chalk. Ready for an ascent.
All right.
Yep.
So you all gather sort of towards the southern side of this structure, because we haven't actually laid this thing out. So Verve, why don't you tell me what is specifically at the southern side of this sort of like crashed wheel and axle type thing?
So
how do you climb?
Okay, so at the southern side of this this area, there's a fairly large tree that has one of its larger branches over and arcing and almost leaning on the axle. There's a bit of the axle that you can grab onto. It's dented, that creates nice little hand and footholds that you would climb up and maybe just a little bit around, and there's a ladder. Now that ladder is a little bit aged, but I've tested it for the last 6 weeks. Should be fine as long as you go one at a time and don't sway too much.
Mm-hmm. All right, then I will say this, that you can use that ladder to get up basically somewhere sort of on the central hub of this thing. To get to actually the hatch that you're looking for, you would basically need to walk along the side of like a corridor along one of the sort of like spokes of this thing to actually get to the sort of hatch. And at that point, you would still need to actually go around the thing. But yeah, that works.
Yeah. And you know, it would be pretty easy if you can get yourself up onto the thing, but this is faster. This way is faster. So I just want everyone to know that only step where I step, and if you're not sure, just call out. I can parkour my way back to you and show you exactly where you need to go.
As Verve is describing this ascent path to rest of us, I have taken rope out of my pack. I think it might not be a bad idea. Maybe it can go either way. There's some pros and cons. Stay together, we'll be caught if someone falls, but also there's the possibility of us all being dragged down if we aren't strong enough. Do we want to try and stay roped together or not?
I would appreciate at least being roped to someone.
Can be roped together, and perhaps Verve, you will know some strong points.
Yes, exactly.
To be a backup.
Absolutely. Just remember to step where I step. I don't know if you want to be strapped to me, because I'm gonna need the freedom to be able to move around if I need to go to the back and show you where to go.
I would be happy to be an anchor. And I'm going to also... Rashil, I know you may want to be careful not to get any on yourself, but this is climber's chalk. It makes your hands less slippery.
Oh, thank you. I don't mind getting it on me. I just don't know if I physically can pull myself up here.
Are you... is it the heights?
Yes. Frankly, yes. Yes, it is.
It's not the height you need to worry about. It's the falling.
They go together.
Not all the time. And I'm starting to hand out that rope for people to tie themselves to it.
She grabs it.
You want to be an anchor, Nova?
Yes, I would be happy to be an anchor. Does that put me at the front or the back?
I was thinking middle. Between me and Rashil.
That works for me. And Rashil, as we go up, just think about your entire life. You have put one foot in front of the other. And I have never seen you fall before.
Oh.
So 1 foot in front of the other.
That is strangely calming.
Start tying myself in.
Same.
All right, so Verve, if you're going to lead this thing, do you want to begin to make your ascent?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this will be a difficulty 6 task. It is not impossible for a person to do. However, it will to succeed. It will definitely be probably wise to apply any skills you have, or spend any effort you can. In this case, effort would be spent from your might pool, unless you can convince me otherwise, which is always a possibility. So first off, do you have any skills that you can apply to this situation?
I have a very specific skill called parkour.
All right, that I would absolutely say that works in this situation. So you have brought it down from a, what did I say? It was 6. So you brought it down from 6 to 5. Do you want to spend any effort?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So you will spend 3 points from your might pool to bring this down 1 level. So now your challenge is 4. And I will actually say, because you specifically do this often, and you have sort of made a sort of place up here that you visit semi-regularly, I will give you an asset on this, as this is a path that you are familiar with.
Sure, and
for this part of it.
Great, and I do want to share this information with everyone. This is I just want to know: am I reducing the challenge rating for myself or the entire party?
At the moment, it's just for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say at the moment it's just for yourself. So your target number right now is 9.
9? Okay, cool. 13.
All right, yeah, you're able to basically begin making your ascent up the sort of like central shaft of the structure with really no issue whatsoever. It's difficult. It's not necessarily fun, but yeah, you're able to climb up to the central hub of this vessel pretty much no problem.
It's fun for me. But yeah, along the way, I'm just kind of, okay, make sure you want to step there. This kind of grip is better if you're holding it like this from opposite ends and pulling yourself up that way. That's just physics.
I'll tell
whatever
you what, do you want to...
whatever the ninth world uses for mechanics.
I'll tell you what, do you want to roll a sort of social interaction check to attempt to impart this information well enough that the other people can get an asset?
Okay, yeah.
And
all right, I was
paying
Swear to God.
attention.
Yeah, everyone's paying attention pretty well. You know them all pretty well. So I will say that this will be a difficulty 3 task.
Okay. That is a 10.
Made it barely. Your target number was a 9. So yes, everybody, when you proceed to make this similar ascent, you will have an asset with whatever your venture is. So who's next?
I think it's either going to be me or Rashiel, as Nova's in the middle of the rope. I do not mind going first.
There's no way Rashiel's behind Verve.
Fair.
Are we rolling in order of our thing, or should I roll next as the anchor to make it easier for the folks who I know are depending on me?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. And I'll say specifically, if you want to be the anchor, that would be 1 level more difficult, as opposed to just climbing straight with only yourself in mind. So that will cancel out the level, the asset you got from Verve. So your target number would begin at 18. Level 6. Do you have any skills you could apply?
Yes, I am trained in climb.
All right.
We are
super.
climbing.
And
go ahead. I was going to say, has my pool reset?
Yes, your pool over the course of 6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And you can spend, I believe you have an edge in might, right?
I do.
Yeah, so you can spend 2 points from your might pool to bring
All
it
right.
down another level.
I will do that.
All right, so your target number now would be 12. Is there anything else you think you could apply to make the situation any easier?
I have Muscles of Iron. That is one of my moves.
Okay, can you read that out for me?
Yes, it costs 2 might, and it gives me it lowers it. Might-based actions are -1 for the next 10 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Sure. It eases it by 1 step. Is
Mhm.
that what it says?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So yeah, you have brought it down to a level 3 task. Your target number is now 9.
All right. Here we go. That's a 15.
All right. Finley, not Finley, God damn it.
Who's Finley?
Nova and her iron vessels, as the anchor of the group, are definitely able to make sure that everybody else is secure in their their ascent. And Nova, you're barring any interruptions, able to ascend just fine.
And I think folks near me, like, maybe you're wondering, like, I just, I'm going through and I'm like, every handhold is the right handhold. You see me like grab onto a piece of like rusted scrap that, is a millimeter wide. And you're like, oh my gosh, what do you see? This is amazing. You're like climbing in 10 dimensions. Like, no, I'm just like grip strength.
You ever see that documentary? What's it called? Free Fall or something? Free Climb? Reminds me of that.
It's funny. Real life, I am afraid of heights, but Nova is not.
I will go next, if that is
All
all
right.
right with all y'all.
Mhm.
I got an asset from Verve.
Yes. The
Was
target
there
number at that point would be 15.
anything from Nova or no? She's just the anchor.
That will be in the case of you falling.
Well, I got an asset from Verve, and I will spend 3 from my mop pool.
Okay,
to
sure
bring
thing. Your
that
target
down.
number is now 12. Do you have any relevant skills?
I do not, but how is this angle? Is it like very angled upwards, or what is it?
It's a fairly steep angle on a thing that is very much not meant to be climbed. So it's sort of like a relatively smooth sort of metal pylon.
How sturdy is this material? Or is there any like wood through this material that has overgrown it, like vines and stuff?
Not at this height, no. At this point, it's just like weathered metal.
Weathered as in there are holes?
Conceivably, it's not like Swiss cheese or anything, but yeah, there are probably some holes somewhere.
So what I would like to do is go through my explorer's pack and take out 2 out of my 3 spikes and use them to help me climb up the side of this vessel.
Okay, sure. I'll say that equipment can add an asset. So your target number is now 9.
Thank you. I got an 18.
All right, super. Yeah, you're able to sort of make your ascent. Again, barring any interruptions, because you have tied yourself to somebody else. If everything else goes well, yeah, you're able to make your ascent no problem. And it is at this point. Okay.
I just say I take my time.
Mm-hmm. Sure. It is also at this point that you notice you have a bit of an audience. You're a bit too far up to be able to like very clearly see like anybody's facial expressions or like hear what anyone's saying, but you do notice there's might be like 5-7 people just kind of watching you.
That's
as you
supposed to be
begin your climb.
working.
And Rashiel, how would you like to make your ascent?
Very quietly and very carefully, and leaning heavily on Nova because I am small and she is tall. I have. It happened! Yay! We've started.
Right. Yeah. So you have 1 asset from Verve, which will bring your target number from 18 down to 15. Do you have any skills you would like?
Oh my God. Of course not.
All right. Would you like to expend effort from your right pool?
I have a shit ton of might, so yeah.
Okay, for the low cost of 3 might, you can reduce it down 1 more level to a target number 12, level 4. Is there anything else that you think you can that you think might help you, or are we rolling against 12?
Not unless in my bag of light tools and parts there's something that I can use to like.
And so, like I said, this is a very sturdy structure. You, as Rashiel, would not know this, but like we, as players, have all discussed, this is a spacefaring vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on here is incredibly durable. So it would be like there are a few like pre-existing like holes or sort of like weathered patches that you could conceivably hook into a couple of times, but it wouldn't be the sort of thing that you could like ice pick your way out.
She wouldn't be thinking. She'd be thinking too much about like just steady, slow progress to be like looking at any creative like handholds or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's really just going to be leaning on Nova and
All
not
right.
physically,
Well,
but like very carefully.
since Rashiel is the last one to come up, can we kind of like pull her?
Because you already have someone who is anchored, and you've already said that you're like, unless you want to be like, okay, change of plan, we're now climbing by ourselves and we're tossing you a rope down and pulling you up like that. If she's gonna be climbing, she's gonna climb. You know what I mean?
I'm imagining as she just like lies down like a dog who don't wanna. It's just like,
Like, no! I think she's trying her best to not look down. I don't have any skills that apply, so let me go ahead and roll this fucking...
Rolling against 12.
I look down, I see him like, no, Rashiel, just pretend that this metal bar is the widest street in Charmand, and you are walking past the fashionable tuber shops, and
Tubers.
just
I'm a tuber. I am steady.
Can I? Am I at a spot where I can just kind of just be on the ready, watching this happen?
Yeah, you could definitely prepare yourself. I'd say that you've reached somewhere that's comfortable enough for you to turn around and observe and be ready.
Here we go. Please be nice to me. 17!
It's not as bad as you thought it would be.
Thank
Granted,
God.
That's not a high bar to clear. So it's still probably more physical exertion that you've used in a long time. But being tethered to Lichten and Nova, having sort of information from Verve to sort of run through and use to guide, you're able to make the ascent. Granted, it's still probably terrifying, but you're able to make it up to the central hub of this structure pretty much without any incident.
Without any physical incident.
Not any physical incident. Yes, the mental scarring might last a little longer. But yeah, you all sort of find yourself in this sort of large central structure, roughly the size of a small castle. It's a very large sort of central structure, which makes sense in that it is it would not take a master of deduction to determine that this is probably something of a control center for the entire structure. But the hatch you saw very specifically is sort of like you'd have basically be like walking on the side of like a corridor to get there.
Yeah. So
that would be the next step.
So yeah, this is kind of what I've been sitting on. I can't really get into any place. I've been trying, but I think the hatch that Sabine pointed out is in this direction. We're gonna have to do one more thing to get to that spot, but we handled that easily, right? We can do it again.
and
Rashiel, that
Rashiel,
was really good.
yes, so proud of you.
I'm just gonna kind of like plop on the floor for a second.
And
If take a second really quick and I point towards the jungle and the horizon and the sky and just kind of take that in.
Mm-mm.
It is a lovely view.
Mm-mm. She's not facing that way.
You're gonna have to face that way because that's where we're going.
It doesn't matter. Right now, she's not.
Just stand behind Nova. She's tall enough to block your view.
Okay.
I can feel your eyes boring into my back.
It feels safer than looking at all of the things down there.
Here, maybe I'll... Would you prefer the plain side or the colorful side?
The colors.
I mean, they are both colorful, but I know you can't see those ones, so I'll
What are the
flip my
colors?
cloak inside out.
Thank you.
As you look at it, you realize that the patterns are starting to look a little bit like the view beyond. They're starting to sort of take on the form of trees somewhat.
She goes in front of you. She's like, oh my god, fuck it. She just goes in front of you. She's like, fine, okay, let's go. Let's just get this over with.
Lead the way, Verve.
Okay. From where I saw it on the ground, I would be able to kind of tell which direction I need to go, right?
Yes. So, yeah. So if you imagine, so if you weren't to the south to get onto that sort of axle thing, you'd be facing forward. Once you you'd be facing north rather. Once you got onto the hub section.
Okay.
So you would then need to travel sort of west along the sort of side of one of these
Okay.
hallway type things, which conveniently there is one that is parallel-ish to the ground. There is a slight downward slope, and it is a smooth surface. It's not anything you would need to like roll for or be particularly worried about, but it's also just like I don't want to not think about where I'm putting my foot.
Okay. So yeah, it's just over here. I haven't been in this part of the area very much, so I can't really show you where to step. I can just give you tips on sort of how to step. You want to lean back just a little bit to shift your weight and your center of gravity, so that you fall backwards instead of forwards. If you fall at all, I should not have mentioned that, but it's good to know. So if we go in this direction, I believe we'll be able to get to the hatch that Sabine was pointing out. But yeah, that climbing powder is going to be very useful. Thank you for bringing that, Nova. But yeah, you ready?
Let's go.
No. But
You're
she's
ready.
she's going.
Okay.
We have no idea what we will find when we get inside. How has no one spotted this hatch before?
This structure's huge, Nova.
Yeah, it's real big.
And
It's
I was the only one
big.
looking up here, so
And yet you didn't
no.
find it.
No.
Fair.
Well, it's lucky that we did.
It took me 2 weeks to even get up here in the first place. Yeah, that path we just took, that took 2 weeks to find.
Okay, let's just go. I can't think about this anymore. I can't. Okay, let's go.
Might be a little better once we're inside too. You won't have to worry about falling.
I'll lead the way looking for any spots that are tricky. Point them out.
Yeah. So your sort of descent on down this thing is easy enough to do. Like I said, it's a minor slope. So yeah, you sort of get to the point where the sort of spoke intersects with the ring proper, and like I said, hatch you were looking for is like on the other side, out and around. But you're very much almost there, and it is at this point where there's a small. You would hear a small like buzzing sound, almost like a fly or a mosquito or something. And it is at that point that you notice there is actually a small fly or a mosquito or something. It is the small metallic bug that has flown up to you. I think that if anybody could determine, Rashiel, you would be able to determine that this is an artifact of some kind, sort of a reusable cipher. It sort of flies up to you as you're sort of hitting the intersection of the wheel and the corridor, and you hear Sabine's voice come from this little flying insect.
I was gonna say, good thing we hear Sabine's voice, because I was about to go like this with enlightening it.
Oh my god!
And fry it.
A human bug zapper.
If you started to do that, I think Rashiel would like clap your hand in hers and be like, "Go!"
And then you get electrocuted.
She's fine. I have armor.
Okay. But no one needs to get electrocuted because it's Sabine.
It is Sabine.
Right? Yeah. Hey, while you're in there, we're still working on the water purifier, and I don't think we have everything we need. If you're in there and you find this stuff called protomatter, it's a sort of weird red vapor liquid type stuff. You'll know it when you see it. If you find any, please bring it back. We desperately need this to make sure we can not run out of water, because we're getting there.
We will keep an eye out for you, Sabine, along with any other item. And maybe possibly an extra way in and out that is not 400 feet off the ground.
Yes, that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be very much appreciated if you could do that as well. Well, so you're almost inside, so good luck, I suppose.
Did you want to come with us with your little bug?
Oh, no, I think I'm all right.
Sabine, can you see through that bug's eyes?
No, I can hear though.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, I can see you from the ground, and if you looked, you could see her sort of wave up at you.
Rashiel, don't look down.
Don't even worry about that. It's not happening.
well, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Cannot wait to see what is on the other side of that hatch.
Is it dark?
Maybe not.
Alex, is it dark inside?
Oh, is it dark inside? The part that you would be going into, I will go ahead and say yes, it would be. Interestingly enough, the part that Verve hangs out at, the hub, it's not light enough that you'll be able to see it during night, but since Verve hangs out there at night, he would actually notice this sort of like soft blue glow from inside the structure, from inside that hub. It doesn't seem so, like you're standing on a corridor and like all of the windows are sort of they're sort of like metal sort of covers over them. It's sort of like a launch procedure type thing. So you're not really seeing inside, but there is and Verve would also not notice that blue glow in the corridors, but specifically from the hub, you would know that there is some light on in there.
Okay.
But the part you're going into, there's no reason to believe it will be light.
As we are approaching what I'm assuming seems to be the main body of this craft, do we see any exterior markings? Any labels on the hatchway?
I would say that from this angle, sort of like so on like the 90-degree point from where you are, there's some writing there. It is in a language that you do not know, and you can sort of deduce that it's writing in that, here are very regular sort of repeating shapes that are in the same style of the rest of the structure and so on and so forth. So you're able to deduce that it's writing, but you can't necessarily read it.
But Rashil, do you recognize those symbols? They mean nothing to me, but I know you are learned.
Since I do have the deep knowledge of Numenera, would I recognize it from something in my studies with my mentor?
It is not necessarily something that you would recognize from your studies. However, would you like one experience point?
Yeah, I'm getting
all
all of them.
And by one experience point, I mean 2 experience
Yes.
points, because who would you like to give your second experience point to?
Who did I give it to last time?
Last time
let's
you
do
gave it to
Licton.
Nova, I believe. Okay.
Well, thank
Alright.
you.
Licton, you have 1 more experience point. So, Rashil, on your part, you know that not all languages are created equally. You know that, you know that much, whether or not you can read anything that, sort of everything that you come across. This language in particular seems to be something different from what you speak, even beyond the fact that, like, oh yes, this is a different language with different writing, in that, your attention is brought to this sort of writing on the side of the ship, and you're looking at it, you're studying it, and you quickly found yourself being almost pulled into it. There's something of a residual effect of either the words, the writing itself, what happened on the ship. It's very unclear, but you're able to get an impression from this writing, even without being able to read it. You sort of get this vague gut feeling of fire and ambition, gravity and death. It is all at once a horrible, beautiful thing to behold. And you don't, in your language, necessarily have a word for the sort of thing that you experience in that moment. But in our language, as players and GMs and people who live in Florida, the closest thing that you can ascertain from observing this is that this is a vessel that is titled Icarus.
So, and I'm just gonna kind of look at it for a bit. How do I explain this? There's a feeling.
As you're trying to describe it, I've taken my notebook out and started quickly doing some sketches of the words.
It is, and Alex, can I have clarification really quick? I know we had conversations about like what pieces of mythology have made it this far and things like that. So, does Icarus still carry meaning? Okay,
so like absolutely nothing from like this point in time made it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
So like that's why I said like to us, like this is the word we would use, like but to you it's like not that word. It is some other word that gets across this sort of
the
doomed
same
ambition.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's some other word that sort of has that same implication. But it is not necessarily related to any story that you or I would know. Fun fact, so the GM intrusion was not you learning that. The GM intrusion was the fact that you learning that has filled you with an intense sense of sort of existential dread, to the point where you are almost invaded by these intrusive thoughts of like, why am I even doing this? Like, what does it matter? We're all going to end up like this ship one way or another. And you actually, because of this sort of mental anguish, you descend 1 step down the damage track. So all of your every attempt to action that you take will be hindered by 1 step.
Cool.
So I imagine that I'm standing next to Rashiel since I just pointed that out. Rashiel, how long were you? What were all those things going through your mind? Like, would I or others have noticed you processing all of that, or was it like instantaneous?
I think she's pretty expressive, so I think that I have this thing of her like kind of trying to decipher, do I know this language? Do I know the syntax? Do I know anything about this? And then like it just kind of slowly dawns on her. And I think she's trying to think of words, and she's saying things like, oh, foreboding, impending danger, and a doomed voyage. And I think as she's saying these things, she realizes that all of those adjectives kind of apply to what they're doing right now. And they just kind of come a little bit more slowly.
I'm absentmindedly copying down what you're saying, not exactly clicking. And then you're like, wait a minute.
You saw something in those words.
It's pointless.
Well, things can contain in themselves the seeds of their own end. But those seeds still have to grow.
None of it matters.
Well, then what have you got to lose? Might as well have fun, right? And he's going to speed towards the hatch. Not speed, not like sprint or anything.
Yeah,
but just kind
sure.
of like...
How are you going to get around the ring?
Is it possible to get on top? Or is this ring too tall?
So, I would say that you would have to go back to the hub and basically find another corridor that is leading more up, and then you would have to go down that way. That is theoretically possible. The problem is that you are sort of at a perpendicular to the ground, so it's not like you would be able to like go around the top and like, hop in that direction.
I see.
So wait, the hatch is... So I'm imagining like we're on like... We were at the middle of a wheel and we came out on a spoke and now we're like on the inside edge of the rim, but the hatch is out here?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so that... Okay. So we can't like stand on the spoke and open the door. We have to somehow get to this smooth side.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, give me 1 minute and I'll start going through my bag. Well, I'll read my cipher.
All right.
I also have a cipher that could be of use here if we need a stepping stone.
I take out of my bag a couple of metal plates. If I set these down, it can change the gravity within a certain area, and that can change it up to 3 times. In like 3 separate directions, but we gotta place them correctly. Alex, the cipher is called Gravity Charger.
Yeah, you do have that, don't you?
I do. Once placed,
wow.
The plates change the direction of gravity within an area of up to short distance in diameter. The gravity warp could be continuous across the affected area, or it can bend and curve, changing directions in the area up to a number of times equal to the cipher. Once warped, the effect cannot be changed, and it persists for 28 hours.
Yeah, that is totally a thing I gave you.
You did.
Wow.
Okay,
yeah, sure.
So what I could do is set them up, and we can kind of like maybe float up a bit and then have it change direction at a certain point to get to the other side. So kind of like an upside down U or an N.
But someone needs to place those plates first, right?
I guess.
I can do it.
So it would also be the sort of thing that you can basically do it as you go, in that you could
Oh.
put down the first plate, gravity goes, and that could put you to the next point where you could put a plate on, and you could do it in motion as well.
Well, I do know how to use them, so I could do this and figure it out. And if it will make things easier, I could still anchor myself to Nova in case anything catastrophic occurs.
It seems that what you want to create is a gravity-free bubble
Yes.
around, the doorway.
So if we're standing on this side, we can go up and around and go from there.
Oh, so we can stand on the underside of the step.
Well, we can go above, right, Alex? Because this is like the door's on this side and we're over here.
Yeah, you are fully mobile in 3 dimensions. The only thing you can't do is phase through the wheel.
Yeah, we ain't doing that. But it is possible to do it with 3 plates, changing in 3 directions to get to the other side.
Yeah.
So for a diagram, we're like here. Oh, hold on. We're like here, and we're trying to go up and over here. Is what you're trying to place plates here, here, and out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted a visual for the audience.
Yeah, I appreciate the visual.
We want to do a labyrinth Escher stair thing.
Yeah.
Alex, for your reference, we got a $30 donation from Eva.
Woohoo! All right.
Eva, is that for the creature meter? It's for
Creature meter!
It's for the creature meter.
All right. For those of you who were not able to catch our first episode, the creature meter is where I have a short list of creatures from the 3 Numenera bestiaries, which are sorted by sort of tier, roughly equivalent to every 3 creature levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 through 10. And then each level on the creature meter is a new tier of creatures. So if you want to see something really, really big that I don't know how I will even fit inside this donut, you can give us a tier 3 creature. But also there's some pretty rad tier 1 creatures. Last time we got a pet out of that deal, so I'm not complaining either. But also thanks, Eva. But also Licton, yeah, your plan is more or less able to go off just fine. Because if I remember, you have what level is that cipher? Is it like 5?
It is a level 3 cipher.
Okay, yeah, you'd have.
Yeah, so
with a level 3, yeah, you'd be able to do it.
So if you do not mind, I will take care of this, and I'll let you know once it's all placed. I'll give you a shout. And I would like to set up the cipher where the direction changes 3 times so we can get out to the other side safely. The only problem is getting back, but that's gonna be a future group's problem. We'll figure it out later.
They are, even after the gravity wears off, we will have permanent stairs. The plates remain plated.
Well, they'll just like small
or they're
plates like
flat.
this.
Oh,
They're not very big. And it's
I
like,
don't know what I was picturing. You are holding them. I can see them with my eyes.
well, I will be back. And I would like to do so and get to the other side.
Yeah, easy enough. You get to the other side. If you attempt to try the hatch, you will notice it's like heavy and it's stuck a bit for having not been opened in God knows how long, but you're able to pull it open.
All set over here, you 3.
If it's all right with other folks, I might pull up my glasses, my goggles, and volunteer to go next and take a close look at anything that might be unseen and dangerous inside.
Okay, sure. Do you want to make that a sort of a perception task, or are you just trying to get a read on what's there?
Yeah, I'll take a close look. Got mine.
Okay, sure. Then I will say that this will be a difficulty 5 task because you're looking into an unknown environment that is very old, and you would not, some of the things that are in here, you would not even begin to believe are even possible. So yeah, I'll say this will start off as difficulty 5. You can spend effort from your intellect pool.
Yes, because I have an inability in perception tasks. Go figure.
Yeah.
Oh, but the difficulty to spot hidden things is one
Is
step lower.
Reduced. Yeah, so I'll say that cancels out the inability.
Okay.
And so if you spend from your
Intellect pool.
Intellect pool, your target number would be 12.
So I have 0 edge in intellect. Can I still spend or no?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, edge reduces cost, but you can still spend.
Okay. So I spend 3
Yes, 3 points.
Okay. Cool. Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what am I looking for now?
You are rolling for a 12.
12. All right. That's a 19.
All right. So you have actually gone and gotten yourself a minor effect. So for those of us who have not played Numenera, when you roll a 19 or a 20, you don't get like a critical hit or double damage or anything like that. You get our what are called effects, which are either major or minor effects. These quantify your success somehow. So you not only determine that you succeed, but you get to determine how you succeed or what you want your success to be. Nova, I will say that broadly you're able to determine a couple of things. One, it's real still in here. It seems to be pretty devoid of life or movement, at least to any extent that you can, see at this point. You don't see anything hostile. You don't see any security systems that are, immediately coming on to, get you or anything like that. It all seems rather still and calm, and it's in the interior of this thing is a little weird because you're basically coming in on the side. This thing, you realize the axle thing is supposed to be the bottom, so you're basically coming in like through the wall, and the continued corridor is like directly below you. So you would be like walking sort of on the walls of this thing. So yeah, that's broadly what you see in terms of like structurally what's there. Is there anything additional you would like to determine or see with a minor effect?
Well, I saw that when Rashiel tried even to read the writing on the ship, she was so affected. I'd like to get a sense for the... I know we've said that I can see energies and auras. Is there anything remaining in this ship that could explain why Rashiel was so moved by what she saw?
Okay, so I can answer that question with another question, and that is, would you like an experience point in this moment?
Obviously.
All right, can we tick off the creature meter?
Is that a question for me?
Yes. So yes, you gain 1 experience point
Okay.
as we drain the creature meter, and y'all, this shit's wild.
All right. Seth, just FYI, your terrifying signs are backwards. So that says Lexa on.
Look right in the Zoom chat.
Oh, it looks right in Twitch? Okay, then it's me.
Oh, it looks right in
Cool.
Twitch?
Does it?
No, in the Zoom chat.
Well, not on my Zoom. It's fine.
Whatever, you can still
But-
read it. Nah.
It says
Alexa
Alex
on.
No.
You get the gist.
I do.
Incomprehensible screaming. The
Oh my
GM.
God. I got this.
But
Say.
no, but so you were able to determine is almost a... Hold on, this music's too peaceful. You're able to
Oh.
you feel almost something of a malevolence. Interestingly enough, it seems like something that doesn't belong here. In a very weird sense, you get the impression that you're coming into a place that has already been invaded. And you're seeing this mostly in these sort of incorporeal signals or internal data transmissions throughout the ship. You see this sort of warm, comforting, deep blue glow that seems to be the majority of the information transfer inside this vessel. However, there's also something else here. This sort of pale, sickly green-yellow that just sort of hangs in the area. It's sort of somehow made its way into everything in this place. Just as you get the sense that you're looking in and seeing somebody who shouldn't be here, you also get the sense that you're being watched.
But there's no entity.
No physical creature you can see.
I'm going to tentatively, on my guard, step inside and arm my glaive and turn to Licton. Licton, there is a presence here. We should enter, but be on your guard.
Well, we shall wait for the other two before we go any farther, but I will keep myself at the ready. And Alex, before we forget, Nova, who is that other experience point for?
Oh.
Wait, wasn't it for you? Or was that from Rashiel?
That was from Rashiel.
Rashiel, okay.
I know we're not quite even, but I do feel like I want to give this to Rashiel for beating her fear of climbing. And for disparaging her signs. I apologize.
Oh, thank you.
Am I still depressed?
So I would say you would need to actually take a rest to move yourself back up the damage track to being healthy.
I have to take a depression nap.
It's not a nap. So you have what are called action rests, where you can just basically take a 10-second breather and heal yourself in some way. And so you could do that to cleanse yourself of this sort of mental intrusion. But if you don't do that, then yes, you are still affected until you sleep. And you have 4 rests. There's action, 10-minute, 1 hour, 10 hour. And they have to be used sequentially. So it has to be action, then 10-minute, then 1 hour, then 10 hour.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, well, I mean, for my part, I definitely do think that Rashiel would be trying to, like, kind of clear her head a little bit. So maybe just, like, taking a second to sit down. And there's something that I forgot that I could do that I would like to do, because I think it's probably going to be, maybe, hopefully useful. I do have an ability for sense magic that I can use. I can sense whether Numenera is active, where the presence is not obvious. You must study an object or location closely for a minute to get a feel for whether the touch of the ancients is at work.
Okay. So I will say that broadly, like, this entire structure is Numenera in some way or another. So it's if you want to look at anything more specific, like once you get inside, you could do that. But like as far as just looking at like the whole structure, like yes, this is
like this is an era. Okay, got it.
Yeah, right.
It's all Nera.
So is there anything anyone would like to do before we all hop inside the vessel and take our break? Nope. Okay.
I think so.
Then we will take our midstream break here. We will be back in just about 5 minutes or so. So yeah, everybody get up, talk to your animals, get some water, do all that fun stuff, and we will be right back.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's welcome to our Patreon. Here on Open for Adventure, we are making high-quality Dungeons & Dragons content, folks. We have a great big world to share with you, and by becoming a patron, you can help us explore and expand upon this adventure. With your support, we can invest in more amazing artwork, better mics, fancy cameras, and overall stream quality. Not to mention, help us get some amazing new merch that we can use for giveaways. What do you get by becoming a patron? I'm so glad you asked. Let's take a look at the different levels and give you a sneak peek at what you can get at each tier. Did you know that the family of the First Lord Theo, the leader of the rebellion against the Empire, actually invented firearms nearly 25 years prior to the current campaign? The designs for this high-tech weapon are the Delaney family's best-kept secret. Also, they were originally invented by the late First Lady Victoria, Theo's mother. Access to lore leaks like this is what you can expect from the first tier, written in blog-style posts after each weekly session. Ever wondered what goes on off-camera? The next 3 tiers give you exactly that. With Stolen Moments, you can get access to text-based roleplay moments, highlighting experiences that don't make it onto the stream, like Leona's training session with Ray and Asmar. Stolen Moments Plus gives you access to roleplay moments featuring our guests, non-player characters, and historical figures, featuring the likes of Marshall, Annalena, and even the Empress herself. And Roleplay Addiction takes us to a whole other level. This tier gives you exclusive 30-minute videos of canon interactions not otherwise seen on stream, like late-night drunken interactions between paladins or tender moments featuring your favorite character ships. The Warm Fuzzies is super simple. It's everything I've listed so far, and also you get your name on stream after our weekly regular sessions. Every session. And our Undying Love. And finally, the most epic of all Patreon tiers. Drum roll, please. The Lore Master. This ultimate and final tier gets you first look access at all of the content going into our upcoming, official, Open for Adventure campaign setting. Lore, maps, monsters, items, dungeons, dragons. Go ahead, have a look around, make yourself at home, and consider becoming a patron to help us make this fantasy world a little bit closer to reality.
Oh, hi! My name is Express Love. I'm the Senmarian god of coffee. Did you know that in Senmaria, every cup of coffee is made with found familiar coffee beans? That's canon. In Senmaria, every cup of coffee is good coffee because it's made with love by Found Familiar. Did you know that every bag of Found Familiar coffee features artwork from incredible members of the tabletop gaming community? That's canon. Each blend and roast of Found Familiar coffee features cool D&D names like Thieves' Cant, Face Step, and Pact Magic. In Senmaria, every royal meeting that Ray attends features the Cartographer's Blend, a brew of coffee made by Found Familiar in conjunction with Devon Rue. Now that's canon. Found Familiar coffee. Buy it today.
wants your pandemonium. Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right and away, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know, and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. The limit of love is endless, I know. Just do what you want with me. Yeah, I want it all. Could care less the cost. I give you my everything. Some would say I'm insane in the right and away, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know, and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. And give me your freedom. Whoa, yeah, me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal.
And we're back.
Hello, everybody, as I choke on my water. Previously, as of about 10 minutes ago, our intrepid explorers have made their way into this structure that, to this point, they have actually discovered is a vessel named Icarus, or the futuristic language equivalent of it, to find what 3 out of 4 people see as an empty, large space. But that 1 out of 4 people is able to watch this sort of almost pitched battle between incorporeal entities. Yeah.
So is that what I'm seeing? Is I see the blue glow of the regular ships functioning, and then this yellow, pale, like virus light?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So I think as the 3 of you come and join me, you would or join. I'm already like in there on guard alert, and you sort of see me with my spear. Okay, just proceed with caution. There's something here.
In the donut?
In this place, yes. It permeates all around us.
I think
it
now can I focus my sense magic?
Would you like to focus it on anything specific?
Whatever Nova is talking about. Is Nova the only one who could see this?
Yeah. So
F.
Yes.
Never mind. Sorry.
It is in the air. I think it is throughout the entire ship, perhaps, and it is angry, and it is mean, and does it know we're here?
You get that impression, yeah, because both colors you see are more or less omnipresent.
And it's reacting to us in some way, and it doesn't see us, but nevertheless it knows that we are here. And it is dangerous.
Let me try something. I just need to see for myself. And he's gonna move his glasses and sort of tap on his I guess you would see it as his right eye, maybe. Tap on his right eye and sort of look into the hallway as he activates his infiltrator cipher.
Ooh.
It's a single contact lens that phases into the eye and then phases out once used. It's a tiny capsule that launches and moves at great speed, mapping and scanning the unknown area. It moves at 500 feet per level. It's a level 5, so 2,500 feet. Scanning an area up to 50 feet per level away from it, so 250 feet away from it. Identifies basic layout, creatures, and major energy sources. Its movement is blocked by any physical or energy barrier.
Okay, so I might need you to read some of that as I turn
Sure.
off this music to not blow at anybody's eardrums. So, let me get this straight. It's going to move in a 50-foot line and scan. No, it's going to move for 2,500 feet in one direction, scanning at a 50-foot radius.
Yes.
Okay, so creatures, nothing alive.
Okay.
So there are potentially automatons in here, in that this is a very advanced vessel, and there are in some places specialized intelligences to perform certain tasks.
Okay.
Where it's like, I don't know if this is like the fucking air conditioning for the, quarters in there, or if that's like, you know, Killbot 10,000 on the other side of that door. It's where you're getting a lot of machine intelligences, and you're not really able to distinguish them in a place like this.
Any the third thing that it can detect are major energy sources.
Major energy sources. Okay, so I think as far as major energy sources go, it's just not technically in its range, but I would say that it is pervasive enough in the vessel that it would be able to find this out. There is there's still a large amount of energy that could be accessed, but is not currently in use in the central hub.
Okay.
Broadly, I would say that you're able to determine that you could like turn it on. The ship has the vessel has the capability of being turned on.
Okay. Then in that case, I think your instincts are right, Nova. But I don't think we're in any immediate danger. But I think it's good to stay on guard.
So you can see it. I was right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Sure.
Well.
So how do we protect ourselves from whatever it is?
Well, I know about y'all, and I take out a crossbow.
No, that won't affect it at all.
Well, I don't got a lot
I'm
of
taking out my dagger.
I don't got a lot of the other options other than electrocuting it, and lightning plays up the entire crossbow, and up through my arms.
We're not gonna find anything out just by standing here, so let's go.
We gotta go in either way.
And sort of proceed like giving the stink eye to the air.
Sure.
Can I also,
very specific.
I was gonna say, can I take out a minor glow globe and light that up, since you did say it was dark in here?
Oh yeah, it's dark as fuck. But yeah, you can do that.
I would like to do so. And this little small globe lights up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just stick it somewhere where it can like my scarf, so light shines
Gotcha.
and floats.
So one thing specifically, no, but you said something. I don't quite remember exactly what it was verbatim, but it's something like what else can we do at this point, or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Either way, you do get something of a response in that. Could you please roll me an intellect defense roll?
Yes.
You do not know the target number. You can
Okay.
spend from your intellect pool to decrease the challenge number by 1 level.
Okay, and I am skilled in intellect defenses.
Ooh, that's fancy. I did not know you were. Oh, is that a driven thing?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. So then, yeah, it is reduced by 2 levels.
Ooh. All right. Then in that case, I will not spend. So especially since I don't know that I'm doing it. Do I feel anything, or is this like a... Like, do I feel that I'm defending?
Not really.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
Yeah, it's
All right,
not
then
quite like that.
Then I will not spend anything. That is a... Well, it's a squid, so I'm assuming it's a natural 20.
All right. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you are able to defend yourself, but you are also able to still receive sort of the message that is being sent to you from sort of like almost inside your head, almost like the your sort of internal monologue, but definitely not your own internal monologue. When everyone else is sort of getting ready to head out, you hear this cold metallic voice, or at least something that you assume is a voice, just begin rattling off speaking what almost appears to be randomly in what you quickly realize is cycling languages. You hear it's almost like you're listening to a podcast at 2 times speed, and every 2 or 3 words the language changes, and this repeats in your head for probably like a minute and a half. But eventually you do realize that it sort of lands on your own language, which is this language that is referred to as the truth. And the only sort of message you get at that point is leave.
Okay. Who is nearest to me?
I'm probably nearby.
Okay. So I reach out a hand and sort of put a hand on your arm or your shoulder and say, something here does not want us to be here. It says we must leave. Licton, did you hear a voice too?
No, but we can't leave.
Rashiel, Verve, did you hear a voice just now? Did you hear a voice just now?
Just you.
Not my voice. Did you hear somebody say leave?
You just now.
Don't fuck with me, Verve.
My bad.
Something said in just this minute of chatter, and then I heard it loud and clear, a voice saying, in the truth, to leave.
Can you reply back?
What should I say? We cannot, as you say, we cannot leave.
Can we say we're slowly making our way down this corridor unless Nova stops us, or?
No, I think it's coming from everywhere.
Well, why can you hear it?
I can see it. Perhaps. I don't know why I can hear it.
Verve, couldn't you see it?
Could see
yes,
it.
you said you could see it.
Couldn't hear it.
So that's a yellow glow.
2 different things.
Try and listen. Verve, try and listen for it.
I'll try and listen.
Is it speaking to you?
GM, is it speaking to me?
I'm trying to figure out how to answer this because
I thought you were gonna say I'm trying to get this cheesecake out of my teeth.
Oh no! It's cheesecake. It's nowhere to go. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to answer this. So I will put it to you this way, and this is kind of meta, but this is, in my opinion, the best way to ask this question. If you are standing there as Verve, trying to use your ears to detect noise in your environment, you're not going to hear shit, and I'm not going to bother making you roll for it because you can't perceive anything.
But knowing Nova, it's probably not hearing with the ears.
Yeah. If you make an attempt to psychologically sort of open yourself up to the environment and sort of clear your mind and just sort of...
Would this be a Nera interaction?
Let me check. I want to say yes, but I will also say that if you sort of attempt to almost... If you attempt to sort of almost meditate on this, it will put you open to risk.
Mm-hmm. And I will say also, as Nova is saying this, she's sort of looking at you with, looking sort of, you get the feeling through you. Someone says, like, sort of sees you listen, and like, no. Not like that. I think you know how to listen.
And so he takes off his glasses and kind of bows his head and does what you instruct in the way that he knows how. Try and follow those directions. Open himself up to open himself up to that. In the same way that he kind of does whenever he watches the stars.
All right. So here's what I want you to do. This will end up being 2 separate rolls.
Okay.
First of all, I would like you to make a sort of understanding Numenera roll.
Okay.
This will be of a challenge 5, I'll say.
Okay.
So your skill brings it down to challenge 4.
Yeah, and I'll use intellect.
Okay, sure. You'll spend. Do you have an edge?
I don't, so it'll
All right, then
cost
you'll
3.
spend 3 points to bring it down to a target number 9.
Okay. 11.
Barely made it. You are able to hear, again, air quotes, hear something. There's something in the air around this place that just feels wrong. Like, imagine it's your very first day on planet Earth as an alien. And you show up to a funeral, and there's one person dressed as a clown. You don't necessarily know what that means, but you know it doesn't belong. It's like that. There's something here that you get the impression that was not meant to be here, was not built by the creators of this place. 2, I would like you to make an intellect defense roll. I love it.
Can I also
That's-
point out you can technically use an experience point to re-roll?
I'm not gonna re-roll that.
No, I want to see what
I
happens.
had to at least throw it out there, the option.
We're here for the content.
All right, all right.
So, you take 3 points of intellect damage.
Ooh, well, that's fun.
Ignores any armor you might have.
How do I mark that on my character sheet?
You would go to your intellect pool and basically mark off 3 more points.
3 more points. Okay.
Yeah, whenever you take damage, it goes to a specific pool, and you mark off points equivalent to that damage.
Okay.
If you have armor, that's a separate consideration that we'll talk about if you end up fighting anything.
Okay.
But yes, so you take 3 points of intellect damage, and you are... You feel like you should leave. It's not a compulsion so strong that you actually necessarily need to act on it. This is not me saying as a GM that you move or anything, but you also very much feel like maybe I shouldn't be here.
Is it closer to someone doesn't want me here, or I need to get out? Because those are 2 very different things that Verve would have 2 very different reactions to.
Or is it like I don't belong? Like I'm being,
Yeah.
It's closest to I don't belong. It's sort of like you imagine. It's the sort of thing where it's like imagine yourself in the presence of God or something along those lines, where you are just in the same area as something so totally out of your league and unknowable that it makes you physically uncomfortable to think about for too long.
Okay. Are there any physical manifestations of the intellectual damage that I've taken?
Not unless you would like there to be. So if you want there to be the sort of classic sort of bloody nose that comes
Yeah, I
up,
was
I'm
gonna
not
say.
about to stop you. But not unless you would like there to be.
Okay, yeah, sure. A slight trickle of blood comes out of Verve's nostril and goes. He opens his eyes, notices it. I felt it, Nova. Someone doesn't want us here.
Are you all right?
No one tells me what to do.
What just happened? Did you hear something?
There's something, a presence. Something strange and powerful.
Something that doesn't want us here,
But
that
We've
isn't
come
willing
so
to
far.
share.
it is not like the Jurasker.
It's not like the Jurasker.
This thing is not lonely.
Hostile. Well, even if we wanted to leave, we can't leave easy right now. The gravitational disks are only incoming in the direction of the entrance, so we're at least stuck here for one day.
We're in
we,
it now.
And we still need to find iodum and other supplies for Sabine.
So
There's only one way
far,
forward.
that's right, is to continue on the path that we are on. It has not, well, apart from Verve, you look a little shaken, but so far this vessel has made no outward movement against us. We are somewhat safe for now.
Yeah. I say we press on. There's really. I don't want to turn back now.
I think the sooner we finish and get out of here, the better.
It's a large vessel. Maybe we can just avoid it in the meantime.
Let's go.
I think the best thing to do would be perhaps to close our hearts and our minds against it. Don't try to talk to the ship.
That ain't my specialty.
I don't know what that means.
But you do. You connected with it earlier.
I don't know what I felt earlier.
Well,
We should be careful.
I agree. We should get a move on before we're sitting. We'll just sit and pray.
What was it that Sabine wanted from us? It was...
Protomata.
I don't know what that looks like.
It's red?
She said we would know when we see it. I think that it would be pretty easy to identify. If anyone comes across pliable metal, let me know.
Rashiel, actually, you might know what protomatter is if you would like to make take an intelligence action to try to remember. All right, sure. So this will be of a level equal to the material, which is 6. You can spend effort from your intellect pool. Do you have any skills related specifically to iodum or crafting materials?
No.
All right, because the iodum,
My wheelhouse.
protomatter itself is not Numenera. It is immaterial.
Yeah, she's
Can
not worried about crafting stuff.
Can I possibly assist her? I did go through my book this morning and refresh my memory on delving and scavenging. I might have had some notes in there.
I will say that because this is a often scavenged material, then yeah, sure. So let's see, we brought it down 2 levels. What did I say? 6. So now it's a 4. Your target number is 12.
I open up my book and show you my very haphazard notes and written in the margins of my book. Some sketches too.
It's a 14, and I feel like I can just
All right.
I take it and I kind of look at it and I'm like, oh, I see what you were going for here. I know what that is.
So Licton, at the same time, you're also thinking protomatter. I know that sounds familiar. You sort of both get to the same line of the same page at the same time. And you realize protomatter is sort of this superfluid. It's like a liquid and a gas at the same time. In that it always fills up the sort of space that it is in, even sort of height-wise, in a way that liquids don't. But it also seems to have a very strong resistance to flow or like pressure transport or anything like that. You'd also know that protomatter is impossible to find in small quantities. The smallest quantity of protomatter that can reasonably be stabilized and therefore used is stored in a tank that is probably on the order of 4 to 6 tons. And that is the only that is the only way protomatter can be stored or transported.
So if we find it, it's going to be a lot.
There's no taking it out with any kind of use.
We'll just have to keep an eye out for it and get a safe path to it if we do
Exactly.
find some.
We need to make sure this place is safe before anybody else comes here after us.
Verve would be looking for some sort of, like, in the adventures of Verve, you know, there's always been some sort of console or something to interact with. That's kind of what he's looking for right now. Sort of, I imagine if Rashiel and Licton are sort of poring over these notes, he and Nova are looking around, trying to ascertain ways to get into the central hub, the inside of the central hub from where I am, from where we are.
Yeah, sure. I don't think it would be too difficult of a task for you to find some sort of.
If we find it, I'd like to interact with it.
Yeah, so I don't think it would be
or pulls up a map or something.
Yeah. In all honesty, my pause there was trying to think of the sort of correct Numenera verbiage there, because words like computer aren't necessarily something that would be appropriate.
Like a terminal.
Yeah, it's a terminal sort of interface. You know. Yeah, but either way, it would not be too difficult for you to find something like that, as it seems that you know, methods of control are readily available.
Great.
It does seem that most of these things are either off or in some kind of standby mode, and to complicate matters even further, none of them are written in the truth. So you could maybe futz around with one, but it would be very much, I don't know what I'm doing. I am, you know, the sort of keyboard cat that's just...
Yeah. Just going around touching buttons, flipping switches that look, you know, like they would do something.
Yes. The space that we're in, is it wide and open? Is it like divided in some way? Are we moving through a hallway?
So yeah, so you're kind of walking on a wall. You're sort of walking on the exterior. Yeah, you're sort of walking at a very sharp incline along the exterior wall. There are rooms sort of on. You're basically in a large, wide open corridor. There's something of a sort of like median, these like little what you assume were probably planters at some point, but that at this point are just full of dirt. So like these sort of things, like sort of dividing the corridor into halves, and there are rooms on either side of you, seemingly as far as you can see, you know, down and around the curve. But you could like theoretically just like pull open like some of these doors. Granted, you'd be like pulling them open from like under you, like they're basement hatches or something like that.
Nice.
And if you were particularly intrepid, you might attempt to reach one of the doors that is to you on the ceiling. But like broadly, this corridor type area is maybe 50-60 feet across. But I think that's a long range.
It's big.
Yeah, shit's real big. Shit's real big.
I guess, yeah, I would like to open one of the down downwards doors.
Okay. Sure.
Just to see is there any kind of indication, any icons or anything that would tell us what some of these spaces are for?
Okay, so some of these spaces
otherwise we're just going to be walking down the hallway.
Yeah. So some of these spaces are pretty pretty straightforward and like, oh, this is very clearly like some sort of quarters or like, a bedroom of some variety. Some of these seem like storage, honestly, although most of the whatever was stored here seems to be either broken or decayed in some way or another. There's not a whole lot that's like real pristine in this space, but there are other rooms that are more niche, I guess. One in particular, you would like open up and you would see this sort of on what would typically be the ground, but is now the wall, sort of like jutting out at a 90-degree angle, sort of perpendicular to you, is this sort of like large black crystal type thing, sort of held in its position by a stasis field generated by some sort of circular device that is built into the floor. As for what the room is for, it's unclear. The crystal itself and the stasis field, that's even less clear. But like that would probably be the first real sort of exotic type location that you might come across.
Go ahead.
I say, Verve, if you mess with those consoles, who knows what could happen. But check this out, or Nova wouldn't say that. Look at this. This crystal is floating in midair.
Wow.
Ethan, what do you make of it?
What do you think it does?
I have no idea.
Is this in one of the rooms?
It's protruding into the hall, I think. But it's near an entrance to a room.
It's like the central thing inside a room.
Oh.
So like normally this thing would be, sort of like inside the room, like standing upright as like, a thing to come in and like, this is the crystal room. But now since the ship is on its side, this thing is sort of jutting out,
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know, but I'm kind of hesitant to go into any of these rooms because just how this vessel's angled to be a pain to get back into this hallway. Unless we want to lower ourselves with my rope. I
don't think that it's that important, but...
Well, we can always come back, so...
So far, though, we've seen bedrooms and stuff. What kind of vessel has a room just for a crystal?
Do I see any way to interact with this crystal? Is there like any sort of trail of light that goes to like a pad or some sort? No?
Love a bitch.
And is it active?
Yeah. Okay. So I will say a couple of things. That one, you would be able to see some sort of control device that is like right, directly adjacent to the sort of stasis field that this thing is being held in. And interestingly enough, this terminal seems bright, online, fully functional. Oh, that music changes so That was nice.
Well, we can always come back, keep an eye out. And I would like to say, though, as we are going through, I am making notes and making a start of a map so we can easily follow it later. Of anything important looking, at least. So, this room in particular. Well, we're looking for specifically some iodum and the,
It's a way out.
Yeah, that too.
Sure. So,
Can I stay
Robbie?
in that
Oh, go ahead.
crystal room and just kind of like try to understand it without fucking with it too directly?
Okay, sure. So that would be an understanding Numenera roll.
Cool. I
I'll say this would
am
be of a
skilled in all
challenge.
actions.
Yeah, this will be of a challenge. I'll say 5.
Okay.
So your skill brings it down to a 4.
Would it be?
Do you want to apply effort?
I have edge.
All right, so sure. Then you would be spending 2 points from intellect instead of 3.
Natural 20.
Okay. All right.
I would move
So-
my camera, but it'll fall.
Okay, so I will say a couple of things. One, you know that this crystal either contains or generates energy to some extent, which is you are able to determine why this particular the sort of control panel in the room is like bright and fully ready to go. It's getting energy from the thing that it is monitoring. You'd also be able to determine that it can be used to exert some amount of control over some quantity of ambient nanomachines. Probably a higher amount than usual, since you're like in a structure that is related to all of this. Which brings me to the third point. If you decide to attempt to make use of this, you could probably attempt to get one sort of action out of this. If you wanted to make use of, so you could do like, you could make all the nanomachines in the ship around you do one thing. Once.
Do I have any idea what that thing is?
No, like yeah, you could tell them to do something. Like you could
Okay.
be like, I want to know where the protomatter is, and like you would get a scan and be like there. Or you could be like, I want you to like, you know, all nanomachines in the ship come together and make like a fist.
So it is literally controlling the nanites. And
Yeah, you could control nanites that are associated with this ship and its builders to do one thing. And I will say that with your natural 20, you're able to broadly figure out like, yeah, unless you're asking me to do something real weird, I'll say that you could broadly figure out how to make it do what you want it to do.
to make a note of this for something for later, I just had an idea. For now, I'm going to go ahead and relay this information to my colleagues. I think I know what this is for. It looks like it stores some kind of energy, and I think I could get it to work.
Well, what do you want to do?
I think we can get the protomatter out in a stable enough amount that it would be usable.
How?
And put it where?
So what protomatter? We haven't found any.
Well, when we find it,
I
we
would
could
like
just
to.
move everything at once instead of trying to get everybody to come back in here and put them at risk.
Well, you want to put 4 to 5 tons of protomatter just randomly on the jungle floor?
Well,
What's
perhaps
your
it
idea?
is very dense.
Can I propose something that we, if it says, if you say, if it does what you say it will do, and just kind of
I hope.
maybe we ask it to give us a different door, a different another way to enter through this freely, because other than those gravity plates that we had, we don't have any other way to
Don't
get
have a
in
way.
here.
And the plates only last for a day.
Exactly. If we can somehow get an entrance via the hub, that
A reliable entrance.
a reliable entrance.
I think I can do that.
Well, and we don't need to use it right away. We can always come back. We can sit on this information.
I honestly, after what I saw on the side of the ship and what Nova saw and what Verve saw, I don't want to stay here longer than we have to. So, I mean, I will.
If we can get away
I'll-
with something not empty-handed, I'll be happy.
I don't think we should rush into a decision, but
Perhaps if we can find the location of the protomatter, we can go from there.
I agree. There's so much you can do with this. The options are limitless. There's
Exactly.
no reason to.
We should do what we
Jump
can
in.
on our own before we activate, or well, you activate this crystal.
Very well.
Start walking off further down the corridor.
Are there any light sources around that could be
It's
considered?
sort of like. Okay.
Are there anything that could be considered a light source?
There are some like, sort of like emergency type lights. It's dim, it's hardly functional, but it's the only thing keeping this place from being pitch black aside from your glow globe.
I have hedge magic. Can I use that to make like a little
Oh yeah.
a brighter like glowing thing?
Mhm. Yeah.
Cool. This is not something that Rashiel does in front of people, like often at all, if ever. So but we need to do it right now, so she's doing it. And so she's going to basically just kind of out of nowhere, just like conjure like a little light ball to carry around.
DM question. As Rashiel was examining and telling us about the crystal, did the yellow presence react in any way?
No more than usual.
Okay. It's just still there.
Rashiel, do you think you can get this thing to power the entire donut?
Do we want it completely powered? If only we're going to dismantle it anyway.
It might be easier to get around if we could get around, you know?
I think
I'm not saying to rush or anything. I
think I could get it to do anything. It controls this massive amount of nanomachines. So it conceivably, sure. I just don't know if I can make it work more than once. So if we turn it on and we need to turn it back off, I don't know. Or if we need to turn it back on again, I don't know what will happen.
When you say turn the power, does it say turn the lights on? Turn the gravity on? Turn on
Exactly.
what?
Turn on what? We don't know what exactly.
Now, do you think that you can only run it once because it'll run out of energy, or because you're not sure how you'd be able to activate it a second time?
Both. And I don't know how long it's been here.
Well, if we use it, I can try powering it up. Try and get a second charge out of it, but I don't know. But the size of that thing is, I don't know how much juice it will take.
Yeah, that's
maybe
my
a
concern
map?
as well.
Maybe some sort of map so that we can get an idea of how big this place is and where its valuable stuff exists.
It seems like you're saying that any command we give, any choice we make, that closes off all of the other infinite tasks that we could make easy for ourselves.
That is what it seems like.
So the choice we make must be
Do we want
the
one
thing we
easy
can't do ourselves.
Yeah. Do we want one one task done now, or do we want access to a bunch of other tasks that we accomplish later on, but have to figure out how to do on our own?
Verve, my concern with powering the vessel is not that it's a bad idea. It's that we don't know where this thing came from. So maybe when we power it, it restores to what it knows as normal. But who's to say what that normal is? Maybe it gets rid of all of the oxygen in the vessel. Maybe it pressurizes something. Maybe it... I just don't know what to expect. And with us being in here, and with everyone else being so close to it, I don't know if I feel comfortable powering the entire thing.
Okay.
Alex, I'd like to look at this artifact that Rashiel has been examining. Am I able to get a sense of how much, if it had enough energy to do it a second time, would I get an idea of how much energy it would need?
It would take a lot of energy, and I will, for the sake of full transparency here, also say that the reason it can be used once is that it is unstable. Once it is used, it will break.
Okay.
That will not be a particularly dangerous or violent reaction. I'll let you know that now as well. But when you use it, it will break.
Okay.
And with a natural 20, I would say Rashiel would be able to ascertain that information.
So it's not because it ran out of batteries.
No, it's not because it ran out of batteries. It may be able to generate its own electricity from what you're able to see.
Well, do we want?
So I guess I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll just say that in character.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's something. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mayor.
No, it's okay.
So just to relay the information. So I think what I'm seeing is the problem can only be used once. I think I can only get it to work once before this thing is done.
So we can chop down the tree and use it to build a house or build a fire or
that's it.
Furniture or a ladder to a faraway place, but the tree will not grow again.
That's it.
Do we want to walk in a little bit more, see what other interesting rooms there might be, and then double back?
Yeah.
Let's see if we need a house or a shelter or a ladder, or
see what tool we need before making it.
Or if we just need a really, really big bonfire.
All right.
You're going to proceed through the rest of the portion that's available to you?
I'd like to make a mark near the door where this place is so we could easily find it.
Sure, yeah. Not a problem. But yeah, you sort of proceed through the rest of the ship. Is there any particular time frame that you're working on? Because in theory, if you just kept on exploring and looking around, you'd find the protomatter. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So
we have to be, I think, outside. We have to have our feet back on the ground before it grows dark.
And also, it does depend on how far in the vessel we're able to get, because this is on an angle, and we can't get to other areas just because of how the hallway is. Once we hit that curve, we'd be climbing, and we just can't get up that incline.
Yep, that is precisely right.
Can I parkour up that incline?
You could parkour up sections of it, but again, this thing is like mountain sized. So you could get up some parts of it, and you could probably get up a lot of separate parts of it, for successive actions. But you could not necessarily parkour all the way up.
Okay. If we've been here a couple of hours, Verve is starting to get antsy and frustrated at the amount of nothing that we found.
Well, that's actually just what I was going to say. So, there is plenty to be found here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, that's what I was asking, because it is a matter of when, not if, in terms of finding the protomatter. If you're here for a few hours, it is doubtless that you would be able to find it, especially given just its size.
What Verve is kind of looking for is a way to make the rest of this place more accessible.
Sure.
Like an easy door to access from the outside, or opening up an entryway from the main hub that was the first landing when we first got up here.
Putting a door on the other side so we can get in and not have to go around.
Yes, it seems to me that there should be a door. Why would you build something that is this big and not make more than one door?
It's probably closer to the hub.
Right. This is a weird place to have an access point anyway.
Perhaps there should be one in each quadrant. Or
there could be there anyway, and we just haven't found them yet.
Let me see what I can do. Just wait here for a little bit.
Don't go too far.
No.
Just trust me on this, please.
How about
He's going to round a corner. Try and get out of sight. Not out of shouting distance or anything. But once Verve thinks that he can't be seen, he's going to parkour up to some place and try and hover up towards the main hub area. If there's a corridor or anything that he feels is in that direction.
Okay, yeah, I would say that this is like the central place. There are absolutely ways to get there.
I'm imagining it's kind of like if this is the donut and we've been on the outside ring, kind of like there are spokes going towards the center hub, right?
Yes. Yep.
He's gonna float up into the central hub area.
Sure. How long can you hover?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Oh, that's plenty of time.
I would like to say though that I ain't just gonna let you run off on your own.
It's especially
that's fair.
I don't know that like Nova would like have the math for this, but Finley does sort of just if this thing is that big, how far do you actually have to go to round the corner and be out of sight?
Find the circumference.
I'm not gonna do it right now.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to do that math.
No, we don't.
So yeah, I need to use one intellect to do that.
Yeah, sure.
It's fine. Math.
Yeah, we'll ignore that for now. Yeah, right. But yeah, so you would eventually be able to reach the control room, no problem, using this method. It'd take a while. It actually might, now that I think about it, take a couple of uses of hover, but like broadly, yeah, you get there.
Okay.
I would just like you to
I
imagine
just want to check.
You'll run off. I'm like, Verve, what the hell?
And so this is why, we are watching him like just scoot off into the distance.
To be clear, Verve wouldn't be doing like the hovering unless he's unseen, though, right?
Unless I think I'm unseen.
Fair.
Like you might be able to get around the corner before we get there and we can see.
Yeah, I'm saying like you could definitely, if you wanted to chase out, you would see like Verve going up into one of these corridors. But I don't think he would notice you noticing him. He's too frustrated with coming up with nothing in terms of access.
Rashiel's gonna let you just run free.
All right, Licton, if you chased after Verve, is there anything you would like to do, assuming you get to one of these corridors?
Oh, what are my options again? Like just other corridors that would be difficult to get around? Because it's like, are they part of the spokes or something?
Yeah, so if you're going to the central control room, that'd be going straight up at this point.
Well, there's not much I can do because I can't access it in a way that Verve can.
So
Okay.
I think I'm so nervous about what is in this place with us. I would come along with you. I think I would look at you and say, like, we can't just let him go off.
Well, I can't get up there. I don't think we got much of a choice.
It's like essentially straight up, and it's like a vertical hallway. Are there any?
Pretty much, yeah.
Can I try to like climb up just even a little ways and like open one of the windows or something?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Although from here we could probably see Verve going like.
Yeah.
You know what? In that case, I'll just turn to Licton and be like, "Did you know that he could do that?"
Did I know you can do that, Verve? No.
This is the first time since meeting Rashiel that I've probably used this.
I did not know.
And Rashiel doesn't know either, for the record.
But... Well, there's not much we can do about it right now except wait, so I just suggest that we stay here until he gets back.
He seems to know what he's doing.
He knows how to get himself into trouble, is right.
Well, this is the kind of trouble we can't... I mean, if that's his trouble, he's on his own, because... Can you...
It's making my job so much harder. Damn it.
I think...
So...
It's been 6 weeks, he hasn't gotten himself killed yet.
Yeah, who you think's getting him out of it?
Well, that's true, but... If he falls, we can catch him.
Doesn't matter.
So, Verb,
Hey guys,
Hello.
what's going on over there?
how would you like an experience point?
Absolutely.
All right. Who would you like to give your second experience point to?
Let's see. Everyone's gotten one, right?
Licton's gotten one. Rashiel's got one.
I think
Nova's gotten
Licton would get
Okay.
this experience point just because of the implications of what Verve is doing and sort of Licton's sense of responsibility for Verve.
All right. So you hover your ass, straight on up there. It takes a bit, but you eventually find yourself in this central sort of hub area. Interestingly enough, you realize on the way, though it does take you a lot longer than like you would like it to,
Mm-hmm.
it's shorter than it should have been.
Okay.
But
How fortunate.
you sort of get your way up there. You make there's a sort of sliding door that sort of parts horizontally as you sort of perpendicular,
Okay.
head your way up in there, and you find yourself in sort of this like rotated control room almost. There are a bunch of sort of panels and control points and sort of operating controls for the vessel that you see in this room.
Can I figure out if there's any way to open to the outside from here? Do I get the sense? I've been outside in the community hub, the communal hub area, right? Are there any panels or doors or windows that I could open from in here to get out there, and leave it open to access the donut from here?
Okay, so here's what I will do. I will say that as part of the intrusion, you are aware that there are access points, but the ship would need to be powered to use them. And
okay.
towards the front of this sort of sideways room that you are in, you see two sort of buttons that you kind of can't quite keep your eyes off of. One of them, in that once you actually reach there, the lights in the room go off, and there's one singular large circular blue button towards the front of the ship.
You can't say that. You can't.
But
GM, you can't say that.
Jack.
In spite of that, there is another button that is not actually glowing by the ship's power, and yet on a psychological level, you can't keep your eyes off of it. It's like watching a train wreck or finding some really horrible video on YouTube or browsing like r/5050. It's terrible and frightening and awful, but you cannot take your eyes off of it.
Down on the floor, I'm like, Licton, I know you're so worried about Verve, but I really feel that there is so much sense in him. Underneath that risky exterior, he makes good decisions.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
No,
I have known him before you joined us, and he has made some questionable decisions.
But I see something in him. There is more to that person than and meets the eye.
He is still a work in progress.
Well, aren't we all?
Him
He's-
more so than others.
I'm not. Okay, so Verve is looking at these two buttons like, okay, well, I'm risk taking. That's in the name, but I'm also not stupid. That's also in my descriptors somewhere. He would have the sense, plus of all the discussion that's been going on around, have the sense not to press the Reddit 50/50 button, but he wouldn't have the sense to not press the big blue glowing button. Touches the ding dang everything. Yep. The reasoning is he thinks that the blue one opens things, powers things. I don't know.
All right. So, do you press the blue button?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple of things happen. One, I'm going to need you to build a venture for and subsequently roll an intellect defense of a challenge 7.
Okay.
While this happens actually immediately after you press the blue button. When you do press the blue button, the entire ship lurches. There's this sudden discharge of energy from below the sort of hub area, honestly below the ground where the sort of axle goes into the ground and whatever's underneath there. The entire thing just sort of rips itself from out of the ground. It's like goes like straight over and above these sort of temporary structures that you have built, and there's just this sort of magnetic thrust that you just feel an absurd amount of just G-force just pulling you up. If you were standing on the ground, you would feel what is like almost an earthquake as this enormous sort of half solar array, half odd crystal battery is just pulled straight vertically up, and just piles of dirt and rocks just fall and cover what was 5 minutes ago a pretty nice and clean little village you had there. But very quickly, you in the hallway all realize Verve turned the ship on. The ship is on. You're
Licton,
all like
he would never.
dropped onto your sides onto what is now the floor. And if you were standing outside, you would see this enormous mountain-sized craft, fully upright. It is a large circular ring that is sort of parallel to the ground. It's sort of slowly spinning, and it has this long metal pylon going down from the central control, where this sort of weird solar array crystal battery type thing is just hanging maybe a couple 100 feet over your village. As for your part, you're all maybe a few thousand feet off the ground.
You hear from down the hall a very distant but also very loud, Verve, what the fuck did you do?
Alex, check chat, please. Or the overlay.
Graham, no.
Graham, we love you very much, and we knew this was going to come at some point. We love you. You realize there's 10 minutes left of the session, right?
Yeah, no, I apologize, but I do think that this creature meter will be fulfilled next session for sure. But Verve, can you tell me what you rolled on that intellect defense?
I was wondering if I have applied any skills to it, like leverage and risk. Does that count? Does interacting with Numenera count?
You know what? For this one, I'll give it to you. Numenera, not so much.
Okay.
This is sort of a mental onslaught. The challenge was 7. You've brought it down 1 level with risk to a 6.
Do I want to automatically succeed on this task, but with the GM intrusion? It would be 18, right, on the roll?
Mm-hmm. Well, but you... Yeah, actually, yeah, now it would be 18 because it's a challenge 6.
Okay. I'm gonna roll it. Because this is pretty much already a GM intrusion, right? I don't want to stack
Yeah,
these.
actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it is. I'm not going to say you can't do anything, but I would also say that I would prefer if you keep the GM intrusion separate.
Yo. That was a 20.
Yeah, Verve.
All right.
Yeah, Verve. Let's go.
So what happens is as the ship sort of rights itself and you sort of fall to the floor, you get the beginning of what is the mother of all migraines. Your vision swims and your head feels like it is both on fire and under tremendous pressure all at the same time. This sort of seething red hot anger is very clearly directed in your direction.
I got a Jurassic on my side.
And yet you're able to somehow resist. And although you can't quite perceive what really is going on as the ship sort of wakes up and rights itself, as you sort of claw your way back to your feet from falling, you look up and suddenly you realize that the windows are open. And it, might be daytime and you can't quite see the stars, but this is the best view you've ever seen. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight.
That was stressful.
Oh my god.
You turned it on!
Oh my god.
This is fucking octopi all over
Oh
again.
my god, you're right, Seth. Holy crap. Damn it.
I mean, you're not in space.
Over.
Yet?
You're not in space, so...
We're in the low atmosphere.
Yet.
I need to send pictures of the most naturalist of 20s.
Oh my
Please
god.
do so.
Rashiel's going to fucking kill Verve.
Oh,
How are we getting
Licton's
out
gonna
of
help
here?
you.
Yeah,
Licton is also helping.
I will say, I'll flavor it when he goes out, looks at the sky, and like a single tear, he's just gonna go, Rashiel's gonna kill me.
Licton's gonna help you.
Fucking die.
Rashiel kill you.
Can I see out any windows from where we are?
Oh yeah, no, the ship is properly working now. Granted, you need to like open a door, but to like be able to see. But yeah, you can see out the window. You're slowly rotating.
I want to look at my rock garden from up in the sky. Does the pattern look good?
Looks pretty good, pretty cool.
Made that. And actually, if anyone looks out, you can also see that the rock garden doesn't just stop at my house. It's like a mile wide.
What does it look like? What kind of shape?
It's like a kind of interlaced spiral. But the rocks are like 10 feet apart, so you can't see it. And I'm like,
Chris, thank you.
looks good.
All right. Well, I don't know about everyone else. I had a ton of fun tonight. But yeah, I think we now should probably go around and say our goodbyes and say where you can, where else you can catch us on the internet, what other fun, exciting things we were working on, and then mention our favorite part of the session. So let's see. Hello. Hi. My name is Alex. I had a ton of fun running this tonight. You can catch me on Twitter at AxolotlCure, where recently I've been tweeting about the bullshit that is my current lab report. It's great. But tomorrow I play, and every subsequent Sunday for the foreseeable future, I play on a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game as Kiri, the Sadness Paladin. And we do that from 4 to 7 Eastern time, so come watch that. It features some of the wonderful people you see on screen before you, like Kappa. I think that's the correct direction to do this in chat. And some of the wonderful people you see in chat, like Eva, who is also wonderful and great. And yeah, that's, I think, all I've got. It's this and the Sunday stream. And let's see, favorite part. There were a lot of really cool moments. I had a lot of fun tonight. I think one of my favorite moments, I can't say a single one, but I think one of my favorite moments was what felt to me like the a limitless himbo energy that we got from Licton as Rashiel is standing there recounting these stories of death and demise, and Licton is just sitting there taking notes. Oh, that was so nice.
Doom. I'll go next. Since you have alluded to me. Hello, my name is Kappa or Christian. A lot of you know me as both. You can find me on Twitter at the Kappa Chris, and where I just tweet about D&D stuff, nerd stuff. Sometimes it gets real nerdy, like really like unbelievably nerdy. But anyway, like Alex said, you can find me Sundays at 3 p.m. Central in the D&D 5e stream, where I play Echo, a very different kind of shady character, more of a gentleman than your uncle at Vegas. And you can also find me on the Roads Uncharted podcast season 2, which was announced this week, but we're going to start recording it. Those episodes aren't going to come out for a little bit, but look out for that. I also do some other stuff, like a Star Wars 5e stream, which we're on hiatus for the next month, but I'll be announcing that once we become active again. My favorite part of the session, let's see, which one was it? It was this freaking natural 20. It looks like a 0-2 on the thing, but my gosh, that was the most, like, you waved that carrot in front of my character, Alex. I had to take it, and it paid off. So I was in tears. I don't know if you could tell. I was there were tears. But that's kind of why we play this game, right? So that was my favorite.
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. You can find me here every Saturday on Open Adventure at 8:30 Eastern, playing Licton Battersby on this lovely game of Numenera. I'm not doing much on this channel right now, but in October, I will be on October 18th at I think 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be running a one-shot called Birds of a Feather, which will be showcasing the Birds of Paradise exotic Aarakocra and Kenku supplement. There will be giveaways and basically showing off really cool people playing really cool burbs. And on the 19th and 26th, those are Mondays, I believe we're going to be starting at 12 Central. A couple of us will be playing 10 Candles on Eva Sarate's channel. Her handle is in the chat. You can see how to spell it, and it'll be about that time. And then I'm in an upcoming charity one-shot, but I don't have more information about that yet. But soon. My favorite part of the session was when Nova got really close to the microphone and said, "Don't fuck with me, Verve."
Your eyes roll like this.
It was great.
All right, I'll go next. My name is Finley. You can find me on Twitter at infernal_glow, where I retweet things about politics and occasionally post about D&D and this game. This is my only stream that I'm doing at the moment. So you can see me here next Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel, same bat Nova. Oh, and my favorite part of the stream tonight was just the moment when the vessel took off into the air, and it felt really inevitable yet also really unexpected. And I love the idea of Sabine down on the ground being like,
We're gonna get an earful or a very happy Sabine.
That bug is gonna be like, the heck? What did you do? So I can't wait to see what happens next.
That little bug is going to be very much Molly Weasley's Howler. So hi, I'm Seth. You can find me on Twitch at KillXJill. I stream games. I sometimes stream art stuff. Sometimes I'm streaming cats or plants or really just whatever I feel like. I am a Twitch affiliate, which is fucking insane to me. So, like, hop on. I would love to have you as my backseat gamer. You can also find me on Twitter at KillXJill, which I really kind of only use to, like, Twitch, promote. Sometimes I'll put art on there. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, I'll post a single selfie in 8 years. You'll also find me on Instagram for the same thing, KillXJill with another X at the end because someone stole my name. This is the only campaign open for adventure currently. I look forward to getting into more trouble in the future. But for now, just picking, how am I supposed to choose one moment? Because I'm an asshole, I really like the banter that I got to have with Licton. That was a fun one. I love that we had to have like an understanding about it. Like, hey, listen, this is the way our characters are gonna butt heads. It's cool, right? It's cool. So I really like that as like a fairly new streamer and a fairly new player, getting to have like those interactions and kind of build my character. And I do have to put in another one. Sorry, Rashiel kind of being able to depend on Nova when she, was absolutely terrified. I think that was a big moment for her, so I don't want to kind of let that get swept under the rug because that was big for Rashiel.
Before we go into our Warm Fuzzies, I also have one more thing to mention. On November 7th, starting at 12 midnight Central Time, Open for Adventure. What are you doing, Alex? Oh, November 7th. Okay. Open for Adventure will be running a 24-hour live stream for Extra Life. Hopefully we'll get some promo materials out soon, but please mark your calendars. We got a lot of talk shows, one of which is being hosted by two of these lovely people on screen, and a shit ton of games the entire day. So yeah, come join us, put it on your calendar, and we're going to raise money for the kids. Also, I don't want to do Warm Fuzzies every week, so I'm gonna have Seth do it this week. I put them in our group chat. I don't want to do them every week. Tell our Warm Fuzzies how much we love them.
I'm gonna butcher some names. Yay! Okay, so Warm Fuzzies. First of all, thank all of you. We have Bel Chavez.
Bel Chavez, the OG.
Bel Chavez.
We'll help you.
We have Christina. We have Sev.
Guildmaster Sev.
We have Andrew, Fellowship of the Tables, the Bay of Gifts.
The Wiki Mancer.
I was muted, my bad.
Title. Gosh. We have Patrick PJ.
Patrick,
woo. Let's go, P.
We have Rico.
Rick.
We have Gamer Lives or Lives.
Gamer Lives with a 1 and
Gamer
a 3.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why it's not written like that, but he has a 1 and a 3 in his handle.
1 and a 3, gotcha. It's got the whole little nerd culture. I love it. Okay, and we have Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah.
Thank you guys.
As a reminder, you can find us on Twitter at open4adventure. And unless anyone has anything else,
that's it.
All right. We love y'all.
Bye, everybody. Hope to see you here next week.